I am the bone of my sword.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah,
Okay,
well,
so
welcome to the Tsubasa episode.
boy, it's Tsubasa,
Let's,
Tsubaka, as we
yeah,
call her in our notes.
Tsubaka.
So Kazanari Tsubasa, other Symphogear girl from season 1.
Yeah, the blue
Yeah,
one.
she is blue. So she is an idol, right? An idol. So she goes and sings a
Yeah,
lot outside of combat. It's interesting. There's at least one concert per series.
mhm.
In fact, in the first episode, she is with Amo Kanade,
Yeah.
which is
We'll
her good friend
talk-
and partner,
we'll
and the
talk
other
about-
half of Zweiwing,
We'll talk
which
about
is the idol group.
We'll talk about Kanade later. She's kind of like part of the same kind of
Yeah.
general idea. So we're just gonna have a small Kanade segment here, but we'll get to that. So yeah, Tsubasa's an idol, and therefore the only one who really, well, I was about to say the only one who really needs to sing outside of a Symphogear context. They all are attending a singing school. So I guess some of them do need to sing outside.
We got scenes of Chris singing, scenes of
Yeah.
Zababa singing,
Yeah.
Maria's an idol too,
Yeah, Marie's
at the
nice.
beginning.
Yeah.
And they actually sing together
Yeah.
at some points, which is fun.
That's how they introduce her. She's an idol and an undercover Symphogear user.
And Hibiki and Miku like her music.
Yeah, that's how she's introduced.
Yes.
And we kind of, as time goes on, of course, we get to know Tsubasa as she is the second of the main characters to be introduced. And this professional disaster doesn't begin to describe.
Yeah. So the first time we see her room, which is actually her hospital room. We see her hospital room before we see her actual room.
Yeah.
Just clothes and
It's just a mess.
trash everywhere.
I love the gag where like Hibiki walks into the hospital room and see it's trashed, and she's afraid because she thinks like she's been like abducted or something, and then Tsubasa's just right behind her like, "Ayo, what the fuck you doing in my room?"
Yep. She gets fucking Shinji to clean it for her.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Not to mention, the OVAs, which are definitely canon.
The OVAs. I refuse to accept that Zesho Shinai is not canon.
Yes. So, she's constantly invited to game shows. Not interviews, or like, just like TV concerts or whatever.
Yeah.
No. She appears on game shows.
She isn't like quiz shows and shit. And, yeah.
Yeah.
She constantly fucks it up.
Even when she goes to the UK.
Yeah.
But
we were joking about this.
Game show.
We were joking about this a while back when we were just saying like she goes to the UK and she still gets invited to game shows. And I was just kind of like, could you imagine her on some like British game shows like The Chase or some shit, or
Taskmaster.
or on Taskmaster? Yeah.
Is this the part where we talk about voice actors?
It's the part we talk about voice actors. Nana Mizuki.
Okay. Yay! Mizuki Nana. She sings the OPs. They're not Tsubasa songs.
They're not. They're meant to be songs from Hibiki's perspective, yet they're sang by Nana Mizuki, who is Tsubasa's voice actor. That makes sense.
She's if you don't know who Mizuki Nana is, she's a voice actor in quite a lot of stuff. And she often sings the openings for the things she's in, because she's a good singer. I think that this note by HJMW says is meant to say that Mizuki Nana is a trained enka singer.
Yeah.
Which she is. She didn't. I think she decided not to go into it. But yeah, sorry. I've just realized how like shit his notes are.
Yeah. He just kind of like puts,
is a trained enka singer, if I recall correctly. Thanks.
Yeah. It's just
yeah.
Yeah. That kind of brings us into her style of music, which we forgot to write any notes about, but it's fine because it's something I just kind of remember.
Yeah.
Because she's got a mix of like kind of just like J-pop, but also like traditional Japanese sounding music.
Yes.
You know? And that's
much like
fun.
how Hibiki's is a mix of Celtic and J-pop.
Yeah. To be fair, I think there's an argument to be made that a lot of the songs in the series are just like mix of characters implied genre, but also J-pop.
Yes. Oh, the OPs. Yeah, this note. this one right here. We forgot about that one. Talk about the way that OPs are used as insert songs, because they're used as insert songs. During the last episode.
Yeah.
They are always used in the final fight. It's one of those animes that does that.
Yeah.
But they're also the attack names that Hibiki uses in the final episode, which is fun. Except for GX.
I think
GX has a different insert song.
Yeah, we
for that.
we brought that up in the Hibiki episode though, didn't we?
Yes.
Right.
We did, but I feel like it was worth mentioning because we were talking about the openings.
But yes, Tsubasa gets some good songs. As I said in my first Symphogear video, she has her songs give this very professional kind of demeanor of this is the person who's been doing this for the longest time out of the group. So like,
yeah, you can tell she's been doing it the longest.
Yeah. She again. As
Man, that's a good segue. Let's skip this one and go into this one because that's a good segue into the fact that her Symphogear is a very good demonstration of what a Symphogear is.
Yeah. It's good that she's one of the, like, pretty much the first Symphogear to be introduced because her Symphogear is the most simple. It's
swords and sometimes lightning and sometimes fire.
Yeah. It's fairly standard, but it's also one of my favorites. They get they get a lot of mileage out of it with like.
We're going to be talking
and stuff
about it a bit later.
Her fighting style, you'll know full what I'm about to mention. Her fighting style is very Virgil. Like
I think it's kind of Emi Ashiro. Personally,
it's kind of like a weird mishmash of Emi Ashiro and Virgil. To be fair, that probably comes from the fact that like I'm thinking Virgil mainly because like her main sword of choice is.
Virgil has the summoned swords and the katana.
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
And Shiro has the different size swords.
Yeah, like Tsubasa is a sword. That's her entire body becomes a sword. She quite literally is the sword.
Becomes a Beyblade sometimes.
She sometimes turns into a Beyblade as well. Yeah. Who doesn't even know what fucking direction they're spinning according to.
Oh yeah, and this little sarcastic note pointing out that Hibiki's Symphogear is special and doesn't count, and it's not the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to learn different rules for her for the first 2 seasons.
But yeah, the Symphogear name. We haven't said the name of the Symphogear once, but freaking.
Okay, so it's Ame no Habakiri.
Yeah.
The subbers would like to let you say that it's like the subbers would tell you that it's Heavenrend. It is not. It's Ame no Habakiri. It is an actual legendary Japanese sword. It's an actual myth.
Yeah.
And I need to look this up. Fuck.
God damn it.
Ame no Habakiri is the So the Wikipedia page is Totsuka no Tsurugi because that's the length of the sword. It's the sword of 10 handbreadths, which is that's Japanese measurement. But the Ame no Habakiri is one of the swords that Susanoo used in Japanese mythology. He used it to slay Orochi, which was the 8-headed, 8-tailed dragon snake thing.
Yeah, the 8-headed dragon snake thing. Yeah, that about accurately describes Yatama no Orochi. It's funny how I'm like a complete weeb and I know a lot of shit about Japanese myth. Yet, like you're the one who had to look this up. I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah. Well, I knew what it was roughly, but I wanted to get the actual page.
Right. But yeah, that's the mythological origins of Ame no Habakiri.
It's a pretty cool sword.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Hey, that motorcycle, huh?
Yeah. So our next thing, the motorcycle.
So she has a motorcycle.
Tsubasa has a motorcycle.
She drives it a lot.
And then she breaks it a lot.
Yeah, whenever she drives it into combat, she often uses it as a weapon, and it explodes.
It's like the Cavalier from Devil May Cry 5, but not as...
But only used once.
Yeah. It's like she should just take notes from that and just rework her motorcycle into, like, combat design, as well as mobility design.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the design of Tsubasa real quick. We've mentioned how the design of Tsubasa is nice and simple. It's not bad simple, it's good simple.
Yes.
But, yeah, her hair's a music note.
Yep, it is. It's definitely a music note. I think it's an 8th note.
Yeah, I don't know anything about music, so like music composition and shit, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, her hair's a music note. That's the
upside down. It's a side ponytail, but like it does in fact make up a music note in terms of its shape, which is fun.
One thing before we go into the spoiler section, I wanted to mention up that we didn't mention in the notes, but I've just thought of, is how her it's kind of true for a lot of the characters, but I notice it most with Tsubasa and how her voice actors kind of like Nana Mizuki is kind of her voice for Tsubasa kind of changes over time.
Yes, in season 1.
It's fairly standard.
She sounds like fake Testarossa in season 1.
Yeah, and
which is fair because it's the same voice actor.
Yeah, but... and as time goes on, she slowly translates into that deeper, more commanding voice that you kind of grow to know Tsubasa for.
You really associate Tsubasa by her later voice. This is very distinctive.
Like when you Tsubasa's like very good with that. Like is if you hear their voice while they're not on screen, you'll hear that and go, yeah, that's Tsubasa. She's just walked into the scene. To
be fair, a lot all of them have quite distinct voices.
Yeah.
Except Ikuchi Yuka, who does the same voice for everyone. 2 voices. But even then, compared to the rest of the cast, it's pretty distinct. Okay.
So do you want to go
spoiler
into
section?
Yeah. What have we named this spoiler section? Do you want to tell them?
Yeah. So again, spoiler section. We're in the spoiler section now. Getting that
out there.
Driving it in, because this spoiler section is titled "What Are You Doing, Oni-chan?" I named this one.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Tsubasa's traumatized.
Tsubasa is traumatized.
He has 4 emotions, and all of them are trauma.
Yep, that about. And the first of these traumas, many traumas, comes from well, not the first to happen in her life, but the first we know about is what's happened with Kanade. So let's quickly go into Kanade.
Yes. In fact, Kanade is related to 2 traumas.
Yeah.
The first.
Yeah, because
which is fun.
Yeah, because like Kanade, we get a bit of a brief idea of what she was like. She like her family got killed in like a noise attack and shit.
Yeah, she was very, very aggressive.
She was very
and then
angry.
drugged herself.
Yeah. She was very angry about it.
Tsubasa.
Yeah. She was very angry about it, and then she wanted to use a Symphogear. Then she wasn't compatible with a Symphogear, so then she drugged herself so she'd be compatible with a Symphogear. And because she kept doing that, and eventually she kept doing that, and it fucking killed her.
Yeah, it did. Fucking don't use your Superb song when you're a Linker user. Who could have fucking guessed?
But
like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Kanade gives her life to save Hibiki, and that
yes.
was like. Was that Tsubasa's first concert that happened in? Or was that like... Or had she been doing it
It wasn't Tsubasa's first concert that Kanade died.
Right.
It was Hibiki's first concert. It's the first concert she ever attended.
Yeah.
But I think it's implied that Tsubasa's been doing it for a bit.
Yeah. I think, because like Tsubasa at the start was like... They show like she was very like not sure about it at the start. And needed to be kind of talked into it by Kanade.
But like that's more to do with her own innate traumas, like a bunch of stuff. We'll get to the Kazanari family tree later. That's literally what it says in our notes.
Yeah. Kanade dies, and of course that causes Tsubasa to just mentally shut herself away from literally everyone. And she starts to like, as we've been joking about, she starts to see herself as nothing more than a sword. She's like, I am but a sword. I do not need emotions. And that's kind of the point where of the series.
There is a weapon in the series called
the Swordbreaker. It is literally
Swordbreaker.
It's literally called the Swordbreaker.
Yes, and its ability is pretty much what you'd expect from the name. It
breaks anything.
The ability to destroy swords that it touches.
Yeah, it's like, but the fun thing is it doesn't literally need to be a sword. It just needs to be considered a sword.
Yes, so like the dagger from Argot Lamp. Counted.
But since she considers herself a sword, of course she fights the person with the sword breaker and gets fucked over. Yeah. And this leads to a pretty fun moment where like literally she wins the fight by going like, how can you consider these swords? These are the wings that will carry me to my future, or whatever she said.
Yeah, to achieve my dreams or something.
Yeah, it's just like, these aren't swords, they're wings.
From a thematic perspective, Zweiwing and Kanade and all that's quite important.
Yeah, from a thematic perspective, that makes a lot of sense. But it is kind of funny as well. It's cool, but it's also funny.
To be fair, the word Tsubasa literally means wing.
It's like
is the big thing. Yeah,
because it just kind of makes me think of some like skit you'd see in like something like Monty Python or something, where like a guy will just have like a weapon, just be like, this is a sword breaker, it breaks anything, counts as a sword, and the guy's got a sword and he's like, shit, this isn't a sword, it's a
giant toothpick.
It's a giant toothpick. Wait, what? And then they just beat his ass. It sounds like something from fucking Monty Python.
Yeah. That's not a toothpick. It's too long.
It is now. Yeah.
Concerts.
Yeah, the concerts.
We talked about concerts earlier. She has them. A lot of them. At least one per season.
Yeah, she has a lot of concerts, and a lot of them go wrong.
Yeah.
It's like
Let's
Tsubasa...
attend a concert in an episode of Senki Zesho Symphogear. I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
So, like, for people who know, they know. But, like, to put it in words, it's like Tsubasa attending a concert, like Tsubasa like hosting a concert in Symphogear is like Joseph Joestar being on a plane in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It never ends well.
It always gets attacked.
Yeah.
Every time.
Always gets attacked.
The fucking
always
first episode in season 1 and the first episode of season 2 consist of a concert being attacked. Fucking hell, Tsubasa.
But like,
why do you try?
Yeah. So yeah, of course Tsubasa has her little character arc, and she's like, well, Kanade died, and Kanade wouldn't have wanted Tsubasa to like just mentally shut herself away because she didn't have Kanade anymore. That wasn't in Kanade's nature.
Yeah.
Wow, Kanade was so cool, except for the fact that she drugged herself into death. But yeah,
man, Kanade is so cool.
Yeah.
Next to you, she has a harem.
But yeah, and that happens, and Tsubasa has a bit of character regression with that sometimes, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I think the interesting one is in Symphogear XV, the concert in Symphogear XV, where like one of the villains just outright like takes a child hostage, and Tsubasa it is kind of like you think it's one of those situations of like, don't move or I'll fucking kill them kind of situation.
Yeah.
But no, Tsubasa doesn't do anything. She's like, all right, I'm not moving, chill, don't kill the child, and then they just kill the child anyway.
Yeah, like it's fucking brutal.
It is brutal.
Actually brutal.
It's like, and it kind of like, of course, it weighs on Tsubasa's conscience for the rest of that season because like
that's how it be.
There's a death under her watch.
All right, do you want to talk about the Kazanari family tree?
I think it's about time we talked about the Kazanari family tree because Jesus Christ.
All right, let's start at the top. Let's start with Kazanari Fudo.
Kazanari Fudo is a bastard.
Yeah, he has 2 sons. The older son, Yatsuhiro, and the younger son, Genjiro.
The Chad Genjiro.
Presented at the beginning, Yatsuhiro is Tsubasa's deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
However, it's revealed that Fudo slept with his son's wife, and that Tsubasa is actually Fudo's kid. Yatsuhiro's half-sister, and Genjiro's half-sister.
It's such cursed information to learn when you first watch that whole scene. It is such cursed information.
This comes up regularly when we talk.
Yeah, but we'll always like... It's funny when we talk, because whenever we talk to HMW about Symphogear, and he refers to Tsubasa as like Genjiro's niece or something. Like me or RadioArc will always just fucking chime in with like that.
Yeah,
it's her brother. Oni-chan. It's so awful. I hate it so much, but at the same time, it annoys HMW.
It's fucking hilarious.
Speaking of HMW, he actually brought up an interesting point to me about Fudo a while ago, and like he kind of talked about like how he thinks Fudo kind of represents the more shitty parts of Japanese culture. I thought that was an interesting thought, and I thought it was worth mentioning because he's super like patriotic and shit,
and old and not changing. He's so set in his ways that he won't consider the fact that this is the magical girl anime and teenage girls can save the fucking world.
Yeah, but it's like Fudo. He's like Japan is like seen as like it has its prideful history and stuff. And it's kind of like unwilling to move on in a lot of ways, and that's what HMW suggested about Fudo that I thought was interesting enough to bring up here, even if we didn't get it quite down on the notes here. But yeah, and of course that ideology in XV starts to corrupt Tsubasa with it. And
no, he mind controls her.
Yeah, and then he mind controls, and then he also mind controls her. Yeah, but
it's mostly mind control. He does make her doubt herself.
Yeah,
beforehand.
Tsubasa was already like in a weak state already because of all the shit she was going through, and it's just kind of like Fudo just kind of like mind control your mind.
That earlier scene where the villain kills a civilian is literally an excuse to put Tsubasa in the mind control.
But she of course this leads to her temporarily being an obstacle that the main cast has to go against. And Maria
Mostly
fights.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria fights her, and Talk No Jutsu's her out of it. And then this leads to a cool ass fight between Tsubasa and Fudo, and
yeah.
of course, Fudo tries to kill Tsubasa, and like Tsubasa's dad in quotation marks, and it's kind of like it's kind of like this like moment of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like he's your father, but he ain't your daddy. That.
Yeah.
That. Literally that.
Yes.
We talk about the MCU a lot here, don't we?
Of course.
Yeah, that basically. And then Tsubasa fights Fudo and wrecks his ass and almost kills him. And then Genjiro's like, "No, I'm not letting my brother's child become a monster." And it's a nice moment.
And he fights him.
Yeah,
which was really cool.
That was really cool.
Always amazing when Genjiro fights.
When Genjiro fights, it's always treated as a special occasion when Genjiro fights, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, probably we might do an episode on Song in the future, and we'll be able to talk about
Genjiro there.
Genjiro there, if we decide to. And then here's our final note. Oh no, wait, the repeating character. Yeah, she sort of regresses in XV because of all of this.
I think it's a matter of perspective on that, because it's like, on one hand, it's like she's learned this already. Why are we doing this again? And then on the other hand, it's kind of like, well,
it does resolve with her realizing I've already done this before.
Yeah, she's been through this. Yeah, it's kind of like, again, this is another interesting thing that HMW brought up to me a few nights ago when we were talking, where he was kind of like, some people do need that message like bashed in their head over and over again to fully learn it and accept it. And from that perspective, I assume I can say the repeating character arc is kind of believable.
Okay. Final note.
Our last note that we're going to end this on, I guess.
Yo, Ame no Habakuri's amalgam is really cool.
It is
because it is.
It's a sword within a sword within a sword within a sword and another sword, probably.
It's like the branching sword thing.
Yeah, the branching sword. Like I forget. Like
I don't remember the name of it. I can't bother looking it up.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. But yeah, it's cool.
It's very cool.
So yeah, that's about it for what we've written for Tsubasa. Any finishing notes? Any general thoughts about Tsubasa as a character?
And so I pray, unlimited blade works.
All right, so Tsubasa is not a character I'd consider to be in my top 3 favorite characters in the whole show. Like Hibiki and like the two others we've yet to cover. But she's definitely
doing one next time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. But
yeah,
I do like Tsubasa a lot, and of course I've said Ame no Habakuri is probably my favorite Symphogear. It's simplistic, but it's cool, and she does some cool shit with it. It's like it's a fast-paced fighting style with a sword, and that just kind of calls to the Virgil main in my heart.
Of course. Damn Virgil mains.
And it's like, but yeah, Tsubasa's cool, and her Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with her family? Yeah,
you know who else has family issues?
Yeah,
Chris, who we're going to be doing next time.
Yeah, can't wait for that one.
So come back next time and we'll talk about Chris.
Bye.
Bye.